What if tomorrow the power goes out, the grocery store is shut down, and you realize you haven't checked your flashlight batteries since 2020? And here's why it matters. Because when disaster hits, it's not the loudest voice or the biggest bunker that survives, it's the one who's actually prepared. Stick around because today I'm showing you the 13 essential prepper items every prepper should own, even if you're not some doomsday fanatic. Trust me, some of these will surprise you. Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and the bell so you never miss a survival hack, budget tip, or dad joke that somehow ties into emergency prep. Now, full transparency, I used to think prepping was something only conspiracy theorists and reality TV stars did, but after diving deep into prepping forums, survival blogs, and even chatting with folks building kits for family members who don't even know they need one, I realized something shocking. You don't need a ton of gear to be safe, you just need the right gear. In this video, I'm going to show you 13 essential survival items that cost less than your last takeout order, fit in a backpack or tote bag, and might just save the day when the lights go out. Drop a comment below with the last time you noticed something missing from your pantry or local store shelves, like a shortage, price hike, or empty shelf moment. We're all living in a world where being ready can make all the difference. And today, I'm giving you the tools to start small, smart, and stress-free. Ready? Let's get into it. All right, let's dive into the first of our 13 essential prepper items. Cover, you're outside. The sky opens up, starts pouring, no shelter, no trees, and suddenly you're soaked to the bone. Here's the thing, in a survival situation, staying dry can literally save your life. Hypothermia doesn't care if you're a prepper or not. That's where our first essential item comes in, cover. Now, I'm not talking about fancy tents or a cabin in the woods. Nope. We're talking about the simple stuff that keeps you out of the elements. Let's start with the classic, the tarp. You've seen these blue rectangles at hardware stores or Walmart. They cost about $5. Yeah, $5. And guess what? That cheap-looking piece of plastic could be the difference between surviving a storm and catching pneumonia. You can throw it over your head like a cape, tie it to a tree branch for shade, or even use it as a makeshift tent. Super low-tech, but incredibly effective. Next up, the poncho. These look like giant plastic bags with a hole for your head, and honestly, that's exactly what they are. But don't let that fool you. A good poncho slips right into your backpack and gives you instant protection when the skies open up. Then there's the shiny space-age hero, the Mylar blanket. You've probably seen these handed out at marathons. Lightweight, compact, and reflective, they trap body heat fast. Wrap one around yourself and boom, you're warmer in minutes. You can also use it as a ground cover, a sunshade, or even signal for help by flashing the shiny side. And finally, if you're serious about weatherproofing your sleep setup, meet the bivy bag. Think of it like a waterproof raincoat for your sleeping bag. If you ever get stuck outside overnight without a tent, this little guy will keep you warm and dry. So here's the takeaway. You don't need a mansion to survive the apocalypse, you just need to stay dry. A $5 tarp might save your life when the weather hits. Seriously, don't overlook this one. 2. Cutting tools, EDC knife, multi-tool, fixed blade, saw. Alright, let's talk about something you probably already carry without even thinking about it. Your cutting tool. Yep, that pocket knife you use to open packages or peel an apple, that might just save your life one day. And if you don't have one, you should. Because when the world goes sideways, being able to cut, slice, or defend yourself is pretty much a must. Let's start with the everyday carry EDC knife. This is your go-to little buddy, small, light, and easy to keep in your pocket or bag. I've had mine for years. It's not fancy, but it gets the job done. Whether you're slicing rope, cutting food, or opening a stubborn box, this is your best friend. Now, if you want to level up, grab a multi-tool. If you were ever in Scouts, you know what I'm talking about. Those Swiss Army knives with a million tiny tools inside. My personal favorite, a Leatherman, not sponsored, just obsessed. It's got pliers, screwdrivers, a bottle opener, you name it. It's like a toolbox in your hand. But what if things get serious, like real survival mode? That's where the fixed blade knife comes in. These are heavy-duty, no moving parts, just solid steel from tip to handle. Look for one with a full tang design, meaning the metal runs all the way through the handle. That makes it super strong, perfect for chopping wood, making shelter, or handling heavier tasks. 3. Combustion lighters, matches, ferro rod, fire Fire tablets. All right, let's talk about fire because when the grid goes down and it's freezing outside, you're not going to want to rely on your stove or a microwave. You need combustion, which is just a fancy word for how to start a fire. And trust me, whether you're trying to boil water, cook food, or just stay warm, being able to light a flame could be one of the most important skills and tools you've got in your kit. So let's break it down. First up, the classic lighter. You've probably got one in your pocket right now. The big Bic ones, solid choice. They're reliable, easy to use, and if you wrap a little duct tape around it, they'll work even after getting dunked in water. Then there's the old school matches, but not just any matches. Look for storm-proof or strike anywhere kinds. These bad boys can light even when wet, especially if you store them in something waterproof like a film canister or wrapped in foil. Now here's where things get cool. The ferro rod, short for ferrocerium rod. This is that metal stick that sparks like crazy when you scrape it with a knife or striker. It doesn't care if it's soaked, it doesn't care if it's cold, it just works. Bonus points if you pair it with something like a wet fire tablet, which is basically a chunk of fuel that burns even when wet. Scraping the rod over the tablet gives you a fast, reliable way to get flames going, even in the rain. 4. Candle, light source, headlamp, flashlight, glow sticks. All right, let's talk about light, because unless you've got night vision like a cat, you're going to want to see where you're going when the sun goes down. This is our 4th C, candle, but really it's any source of light that helps you navigate, stay safe, and not trip over a log or your own backpack in the dark. Let's start with the most practical, the headlamp. This thing is a game changer. You strap it on your head and boom, you've got your hands free while lighting up the path ahead. I always keep one in my kit because trying to hold a flashlight while doing anything else, total pain. Plus, many models come with red light settings so you don't ruin your night vision. That's a small detail, but trust me, it makes a big difference when you're out in the wild after dark. Then there's the classic flashlight. Yeah, we all have one somewhere, usually buried under junk in a drawer. But if you're building a survival kit, go for something reliable and bright. I've used flashlights from brands like Olight and Phoenix, and honestly, they last forever. Some even hit over 1,000 lumens, which basically turns night into day. Bonus, if you ever need to signal someone from a distance, a good flashlight can help with that too. And now for something simple, cheap, and effective, the glow stick or chem light. These things are awesome. No batteries needed, no charging, just snap, shake, and they light up. They're perfect for kids' bags, marking your campsite, or just tossing in your kit as a backup. I've seen people attach them to their backpacks at night so others can see them coming. Super smart, super easy. 5. Cordage paracord, survivor cord. All right, let's talk about something that might not look like much, but can literally hold your world together when things go sideways. That's right, we're talking about cordage, aka rope, string, or whatever you've got lying around that can tie stuff down, lash it together, or even make a quick splint if someone gets hurt. You might be thinking, do I really need rope in my survival kit? And I get it, it doesn't look exciting, but trust me, when you're out in the wild, stuck in a disaster zone, or trying to fix something on the fly, having some strong cord is like having duct tape and a knife rolled into one. The most popular choice, 550 paracord. You've probably seen this in survival bracelets or military gear stores. It's super strong, lightweight, and incredibly versatile. The name comes from the fact that it was originally rated to hold up to 550 pounds, which makes it perfect for everything from tying down a tarp to building a shelter or even making a makeshift fishing line in a pinch. And here's a cool bonus. If you unravel it, you'll find multiple inner strands that are still strong enough for smaller tasks like sewing, binding, or securing small items. There's also survivor cord, which is similar but often comes with extra goodies built in, like a wire strand for cutting or signaling, or even a waxed cotton thread for sewing. Again, not flashy, but when you need it, you'll be glad you have it. I once helped a friend tie up a broken tent pole using just a few feet of paracord, and it held through the whole night, even in the wind. Another time I used it to secure a backpack that had a busted strap. Without it, we'd have been dragging our gear through the dirt. 6. Container water bottles, canteens, silo keys. All right, let's talk about something we all use every day, containers. But not just any containers. We're talking about the kind that help you carry and store water, especially when things go sideways. Because here's the deal. You can survive a few days without food, but without water, that timeline drops fast. And if you find a clean water source, you need something to put it in. Let's start with the basics. A good water bottle. I've used Nalgene bottles for years. They're tough, they don't leak, and even if they get dropped or beat up, they still work. Plus, they're made in the US, which is always a plus. If you want to attach a filter like a LifeStraw or Sawyer Mini to it, most of those will screw right on top. Super easy, super practical. Then there's the canteen, usually made of metal, which means you can do more than just carry water. You can actually boil water over a fire if needed. Just make sure to take off any plastic parts before tossing it into the flames. This makes it a two-in-one tool. Hydration station and water purifier. Now, here's something most people don't think about. The silo key. No, it's not some secret code. It's a special key-shaped tool used to open outdoor water spigots in cities or suburbs. Ever seen a weird-looking faucet outside a building with no regular handle? That's where this comes in handy. If the grid goes down and you need water, having access to those city lines could be a lifesaver. 7. Cotton bandana. All right, let's talk about one of the most underrated items in your kit, the cotton bandana. You might think it's just a piece of cloth, but trust me, it's one of those tools that punches way above its weight class. Think about this. A single bandana can be a mask, a sling, a tourniquet, a water filter pre-strainer, or even a signal flag if you need someone to spot you from a distance. Yep, just one little square of cotton and suddenly you've got options. Let's break it down. If you're caught in a dust storm or a fire kicks up smoke, wet the bandana and tie it over your mouth and nose. Instant air filter, it won't stop everything, but it'll help you breathe better until you can get clear. If someone breaks an arm or twists a wrist, boom. Use the bandana as a sling, fold it into a triangle, toss it around their neck, and rest the injured limb in the fabric. Easy, fast, effective. And what if you're trying to purify water but don't want to clog your LifeStraw or Sawyer Mini with dirt and debris? Wrap the bandana over the top of your container like a coffee filter and pour the water through it first. You'll knock out a lot of the big stuff before it hits your real filter. Seriously, how many other survival tools can do that? And here's the best part. They cost like $2, $2. You can throw 5 of them in your bag for less than a sandwich. 8. Compass. All right, let's talk about something that doesn't need batteries, doesn't need Wi-Fi, and never loses signal. The compass. Yep, that little round gadget you might have last seen in a drawer next to your old AA batteries. That thing is still super useful, especially when your phone dies and Google Maps becomes absolutely worthless. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, isn't GPS a thing? Sure. But what happens when the grid goes down, your phone dies, or there's no cell service? Suddenly, your smartest tool becomes a useless brick. That's where the compass comes in. It's simple, reliable, and works 24/7, even in a blackout. Most basic compasses cost less than $10. Some even come with a built-in magnifier or glow-in-the-dark marking so you can read it at night. Pair it with a paper map, which you should also keep in your kit, and boom, you've got navigation without needing a charge. I always throw one into my bug-out bag, just in case. And honestly, learning how to use one is easier than you think. You don't need to be a Navy SEAL. Just know which way is north and how to follow a bearing. 9. Cargo tape. Duct tape, gorilla tape. All right, let's talk about one of the most underrated but incredibly useful tools in your kit, cargo tape. You know what I'm talking about. Duct tape, gorilla tape, that roll of mystery tape you found in your garage that's probably older than your dog. It might not look like much, but in a survival situation, this stuff is gold. Think about it. Something breaks, rips, or falls apart, and suddenly you need to fix it fast. Whether it's sealing a torn tarp, patching a hole in your backpack, or even making a quick splint for an injury, you want some serious tape on hand. I keep Gorilla Tape in almost every bag I own. Why? Because it's thick, strong, and sticks like it has a personal vendetta against things falling apart. It can hold up in rain, and even when things get a little rough. 10. Communication. Ham radio, walkie-talkies, satellite messengers. All right, let's talk about communication, because when the grid goes down and your phone dies, you're going to want a way to actually talk to someone. Now, I know what you're thinking, but my phone works fine. Sure, until it doesn't, and in a real emergency. Cell towers might be overloaded, out of power, or just flat out gone. So if you want to stay connected, you need something that doesn't rely on Wi-Fi, cell service, or even electricity. Let's start with the big one, the ham radio. These are super powerful tools for long-range communication. You'll see a lot of preppers using brands like Baofeng. They're affordable, they work well, and once you get your ham radio license, which is actually not that hard, you can transmit across huge distances. I've talked to people from other states using just a handheld ham radio. No internet, no satellites, just good old-fashioned radio waves. Then there's the classic walkie-talkies. These things are perfect for short-range communication, especially if you're with a group and get separated. You don't need a license to use most basic models, and they're super easy to operate. Just set them to the same channel, and boom, you've got instant voice contact. Great for family members checking in or coordinating movement during an emergency. Now for something high-tech but totally worth it, satellite messengers. Devices like the Garmin inReach allow you to send and receive messages anywhere, as long as you have a clear view of the sky. No cell towers required. It's like texting, but straight to space and back. Yeah, it costs more than the other options, and you do need a subscription plan, but if you're heading into remote areas or want peace of mind while traveling, this is a game changer. 11. Canvas needle, thick sewing needle. All right, let's talk about something small, simple, and easy to overlook, but could come in really handy when you need it. The canvas needle. Yep, we're not talking about your grandma's embroidery kit here. We're talking about a thick, heavy-duty needle, the kind that can sew through tough materials like canvas, denim, or even leather. Now, I'll be honest, I've never thought to pack one of these until recently, but once I did, I realized how useful it can be. Imagine this. You're out in the field, your backpack strap rips, or your jacket tears open. You've got some paracord or strong thread tucked away, and boom, you've got yourself a quick repair kit. Most canvas needles come with an eye big enough to fit thicker threads or even small cords. Some even have a blunt tip so they don't poke through the material too easily. That means less risk of making the tear worse while you're trying to fix it. 12. Consumables, emergency food bars, calorie-dense snacks. All right, let's talk about something we all love, food. But not just any food. We're talking about emergency consumables, the kind of stuff you pack not for flavor, but for survival and energy when the grocery stores are closed and your fridge is warming up faster than you like. Now, I know what you're thinking. Can't I just bring a bag of chips or some trail mix? Sure, but that might not last long, and it won't give you the fuel you need if you're on the move or stuck without power for more than a day. That's where emergency food bars come in. These little bricks of energy are designed to last for years, pack a ton of calories, and don't need cooking or cleanup. One of my go-to picks is the SOS Survival Food Bar. It's got over 3,600 calories packed into 3 big chunks, perfect for stretching out over 3 days. Yeah, it doesn't taste like gourmet chocolate, but it's not bad either. Think of it like a denser, chewier energy bar that actually holds up in your kit. And here's the bonus. These bars have shelf lives of 4 to 5 years, so once you buy them, you can forget about them until you really need them. Now, if you want something a bit tastier or easier to snack on, grab some calorie-dense options like beef jerky, peanut butter packets, or even military-style MREs. These are compact, high energy, and perfect for giving you that boost when morale drops. Because here's the thing, you can survive without food for a few days, but your mood, that crashes way faster. Give me a chocolate bar and a peanut butter packet, and I'll hike anywhere. So whether it's a survival bar, a pouch of nuts, or a few packs of jerky, just make sure you've got something in your kit that gives you energy when the world gets tough. What do you stash for emergency snacks? Drop a comment below and tell me your favorite survival bite. 13. Clean Water LifeStraw, Sawyer Mini. All right, let's talk about something that might just be the most important thing on this list, clean water. You can survive a few days without food, but go 3 days without water? Not happening. And if you drink dirty water, well, let's just say your survival story might end with a really bad stomach bug. So how do you make sure the water you find is actually safe to drink? That's where our 13th essential item comes in. Let's start with the LifeStraw. You've probably seen these. They look like plastic straws, but don't let the simple design fool you. You stick one end in questionable water, suck through the other, and boom, you've got clean, filtered water coming straight into your mouth. No setup, no waiting, just instant hydration. It's super lightweight, easy to use, and honestly, it's hard to mess up. Then there's the Sawyer Mini, a tiny filter that packs a punch. This little guy doesn't go in your mouth. Instead, you attach it to a bottle or squeeze bag, and as you push water through it, it filters out bacteria, protozoa, and all the nasty stuff you don't want inside you. I keep one of these in almost every kit I own because it's reliable, lasts for years, and can filter over 1 million gallons of water if properly maintained. Now, here's the kicker. Water is everywhere. It just isn't always drinkable. So whether it's from a stream, puddle, or even a ditch, having a way to purify it is a game changer. Dirty water gives you diarrhea. Diarrhea allows bad vibes. Don't risk it. So whether it's a LifeStraw, Sawyer Mini, or another compact filter you trust, just make sure you've got something to turn questionable water into something you can safely drink. What kind of water filter do you carry? Drop a comment below and tell me what works best for you. Bonus tip, why cash still matters. All right, here's a bonus tip, something most people don't think about until it's too late. We live in a world that's going cashless. Apps, cards, digital payments, it's all so convenient until the grid goes down. That's when having some cash on hand becomes more than just a backup plan, it becomes your lifeline. Let me explain. Imagine this. You're in the middle of a disaster zone, power's out, phones aren't working, and stores are barely staying open. You've got food, water, and shelter, but no way to buy anything because credit card machines are dead. Now picture this. You pull out a few folded 20-years from your emergency bag. Suddenly you can trade or buy what you need. Snacks, fuel, batteries, even a warm meal if someone's still cooking. You don't need a wad of money, just a small amount, preferably in small denominations like 5s and 10s. Wrap them in plastic or stick them in a waterproof pouch so they don't get ruined. I always keep a little tucked away in my bug-out bag, my car, and even in my wallet. It's not about hoarding, it's about being ready for when the unexpected hits. Cards fail, phones die. But cash? Cash works anywhere, anytime, even when the world feels like it's falling apart. So before you pack up your kit, ask yourself, do I have at least a little cash set aside just in case? What do you think? Do you carry emergency cash? Drop a comment below and tell me how much you stash and where. Alright, we just covered the 13 essential prepper items every beginner should own, even if you're not some doomsday fanatic. From staying dry with a simple tarp, to making sure you've got clean water, and even a little cash tucked away, you now know what matters most when the unexpected hits. But here's the thing, knowledge only helps if you use it. So whether you're building your first kit for yourself, or putting something together for a family member who's not into prepping, start small, start smart, and start today. If this video helped you get clarity on what to pack, hit that like button. It helps us reach more people who might need this kind of info. And if you learned at least one new thing, whether it's about LifeStraw, paracord, or why cash still matters, drop a comment below and tell me, which one of these 13 items are you adding to your kit first? Let's hear from you. Share your pics, ask questions, or tell us how you've used one of these tools in a real-life situation. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss another video on survival tips, budget-friendly gear, and all things preparedness with a side of dad jokes. Because being ready doesn't have to be scary, it just has to be smart. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next one.